think of a run that we went on. Girl was just over 18 years old. She just started her first semester out in college and came home for the homecoming football game. And, Friday night, 10 o'clock at work, 11 o'clock at work, and we get the call for a car accident. And we pull up, and here's this 18-year-old girl just encapsulated with plastic and metal, and she's just surrounded by this. And we've got 3-4 sawzalls working, 2 sets of cutters, 2 sets of spreaders, and you can just see her just going from talking to you to unconsciousness to now we're doing CPR, and there's nothing you can do. You're doing everything possible to once again do what we do, and find out later that this girl died, and you have to process. You have to make sense of that. And for me, if I'm, as weird as it sounds, if you're doing CPR on a cardiac arrest of a 90-year-old person, you say in your mind, you process it and say, all right, well, they're old, and that's what happens. Or to 19-year-old kids that were going 100 mile an hour from the cops, ran into a telephone pole and died. Well, that's what you get for running from the cops and not following the rules. But how do you process that? How do you process a girl who did nothing wrong? You have to make sense of that, or the infant that died in the crib. How do you process that? It doesn't make sense, and that's probably one of the biggest things that I've had to learn through counseling and peer support, is that there are things that happen, and it's gonna happen, and it's okay. There's nothing, because then you replay everything in your mind again. Did I do everything right? Did A, B, C, D, E, F, G? Did we do it quick enough? And it's that constant, just you go through this cycle of every run that you go on, where these intense runs that you go on. That's what you play through your mind constantly, is that, did I do what I needed to do? Did I do it right? Could I have done it quicker? Could we have done something different? And those are the things that I live with every day. I think for me, one of the big things that I was able to do, a few years ago, is to start getting counseling for myself. I was in my mid-40s, midlife crisis. Not like I was gonna, buy a Corvette and put a wig on and whatever. But I kind of went through that midlife crisis, and one of the things is I asked myself, is this really all there is to it? The profession, I got the marriage, the kids. It's what you're supposed to have. Is this it? I thought it was going to be like climbing Mount Everest, and there was going to be other adventures and whatever. And so I was able to get some really good counseling, to realize that it is okay. You have to let things go. I didn't do this. I didn't do what the incident happens. You have to deal with it. And if you did everything you could, that's all you can do. You're not superhuman. You're not. You can't undo things. God knows if I could, I would undo a lot of things. But you can't. You have to deal with it. So I think one of the things that through our locals' hard work is the peer support, the whole idea of it. I think of just over the 22 years that I've been doing this professionally, that how the process has changed. When you would have these incidents, it was always just suck it up. I don't want to hear about it, and just get back to work. And that's what the prevailing thoughts were back then. And over the last few years here, it has done a 180, where now, after we have a incident, we have a CISD, we have that debriefing, we get that emotion out, we you've got to do it the right way. You can't, the days of, hey, I'm going to grab a six of Busch lattes or, Natty Lights or whatever and just drown in your sorrows at night at home. That's not the right way to do it, because you can go ahead and get your buzz on or whatever, but guess what? It's still there. It doesn't go away. One of the analogies I use is, and I've told a few guys this who struggled with different stresses that they had through their job, is that this job, every run you go on, is like the waste paper basket under the sink. And every run you go on, there's just a little scrap of garbage that goes in that garbage can. And even the good ones, every run, you get up three times after midnight, well, you're putting a little bit in that garbage can, every run. Now, the bad runs, well, that's like, I didn't eat the fat on the steak, and here's the leftovers here, and you put it all in the garbage can, and eventually it piles up, and you got to deal with it, because it will stink up your kitchen, and you got problems. And for me, I was getting to the point where my garbage can was pretty full, and I had to start dealing with that. And the proper way to do it is use this peer support network that it's, the IFF is pushing to do it the right way, to let this stuff out. We're not superhuman. We're not robots. We're people. And I think about these kids that come in, and you go from being the new guy to the old guy or girl like that, and to see these kids coming in this profession, and I was there. You're invincible. You're young. You're invincible. It's not going to bother me. I'll get through it. I'll be fine. Come and talk to me in 20 years. Come and talk to me in 20 years after thousands and thousands of runs and sleepless nights and bad runs and things that you see and hear and smell. Come and talk to me in 20 years, and I guarantee you have a different outlook. This job, this profession changes you. And I can ask my wife, am I the same person that you married? And I guaranteed she'd say, nope, I've changed. But you can change, but there's healthy ways to get through it, and that's what peer support's all about.